We have a phone call. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello,
Hello. Is this
this
Chris?
is Chris Robinson. Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Chris Robinson. This is the director, everybody, of the documentary Looted. Yes. Thank
How
you.
y'all feeling today?
Yeah, we're good. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for calling in,
Yeah.
brother. First and foremost, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's so great to see somebody from the city of Gary living their dream, doing something positive, going out in the world, making a a difference and making an impact with this film. Didn't you just graduate from Morehouse as well?
Yes, sir. I graduated in 2020.
Yes, a recent Morehouse.
So yeah, this is
Yes,
my first official project since I've graduated.
yes, and
Fantastic.
that's absolutely fantastic. What is Atlanta like?
Atlanta is very interesting. You know, I like to call myself a urban culture curator, and I think being in Atlanta definitely contributes to. Being in Atlanta, it just gives me the opportunity to really, I don't want to, sound kind of corny, but prosper. Not even corny, but or just what you think is, and it's so much black pride and city pride in the city of Atlanta. You see Atlanta is in the playoffs right now,
Yeah,
so it's just like everything from that to the music culture to the political culture out there. Everything in Atlanta is just a completely different vibe. Like it's just different out there, and it's really good. I would motivate more. I was just telling my friend every day in my building where I live out there, I see more Indiana plates.
really.
And yeah, because it's I don't know what it is. I was literally just talking to my friend 5 minutes ago about Indiana folks moving out to Atlanta, and I really like it because I think that Atlanta is one of those cities right now that has or is becoming a black mecca for black people.
Okay.
It can still use some work for sure.
Well, wait a minute though. I want to ask you about that. Actually, two things in line with that. First of all, again, congratulations on the successful completion of your project. But now, you said that a lot of Gary people are moving to Atlanta. I've been to Atlanta a couple of times. Atlanta does not have nearly the black population that Gary does.
Right, correct.
Do you think that, or what do you think would hinder Gary from being a more natural black mecca, if you will, given that we've already got the population base?
Okay.
And why is it that all that wonderful talent that's going to Atlanta and making Atlanta a better place couldn't be in Gary, making Gary a better place?
That's a very great question. Yeah, very great question. And I think that's something that I'm trying to figure out right now. And that's kind of why I'm doing this film, especially on the city of Gary. And I really don't have a definite answer for you, and I wish I did. But I can say this is kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing because as a graduate, I didn't really have many opportunities to come back to the city and do kind of anything that I really wanted to do, I would say. So I knew that I wanted to do something for the city. I felt like I owed the city something because it birthed me and it made me who I am today. So thinking of all that is how I came up with my project Looted, and that's kind of what I can do for the city right now, being that I'm not there, but I do still have plans and hopes that I can contribute to the city in many different ways.
That's beautiful.
Right. We have a caller. We have somebody who wants to talk to you real quick. Hello,
Okay,
caller.
cool.
Hi, everybody. This is Bill K.
Hey, Bill, we're doing an interview right now. You got a question
Yeah,
for
I'll
Chris?
call back later, but
What's going on, Bill?
No, I'm out of the hospital. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks. Okay, but yeah, that was one of our famous callers, Bill K. But I want to talk about your experience at Morehouse, one of the great traditional black universities. Was that your motivation, saying I want to go to a black university? Was there a specific motivation to do that?
I can kind of walk you through it. I remember, so originally I went to Bishop Knoll, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and then I transferred back to Gary Schools and went to Westside where I graduated from at 16. Around the time, one of my big sisters, who I give a lot of my credit to for, just kind of showing me the ropes of things, Jordan Wilson had went to Howard University. And I went to Howard, I visited, and I was like, I love it. I love the culture. I love DC. This is what I want to do. I want to go to a black school. And as a junior, thinking about your college decisions, you don't really realize that, hey, okay, like you got to apply to 10 colleges, maybe you got to have backup plans. So, I didn't really realize until the spring of my senior year in high school that, that this was really happening. And I started to get there when the admission letters started rolling in. I remember Morehouse, the Tennessee State was first.
Right.
And of course, like I said, I was waiting on Howard. But it got to a point where I visited Morehouse and I fell in love with it. They had this thing called Acceptance Students Weekend, and it gave me the opportunity to stay with a student who I knew from Chicago at the time. And I stayed in his dorm for 2 days, and he took me to parties, he took me to class, and I had the whole experience, and I really fell in love. And I remember I was with my mom. By the time we left Morehouse that weekend, I didn't even want to visit Tennessee State because I was so in love with Morehouse, and I had just drank all of their Kool-Aid. So yeah. That's kind of how it was for me to go to Morehouse. Oh, and then about Howard, I didn't hear back from Howard until May. So by that time, I had already committed, paid I think it was a $500 fee, and everything. I was ready to go.
Wow.
So, but in my opinion, everything worked out for the best reasons. Going to Morehouse was truly one of the best decisions that I made in my 23 years so far. So
incredible. Did you major in film film at school? Was that your intention to go into filmmaking? So that's what you.
No, my intention at school was not filmmaking. I was an English major, journalism minor, and I think that's more so the aspect that I'm taking for this route as a visual storyteller. I do like film, and I do like film and television, but I'm not really necessarily trying to go in the film route. More so of just visual storytelling. I would love to do another one of these projects, in another city, maybe a part 2 on Gary, telling it a different way. So, more about things like that. I don't want to really get into films or like write comedy films or anything like that. But, telling stories about people is kind of what I'm into.
Gotcha.
Right. That's great. Now, being that you left, right, because I've been in Gary since 1992. I didn't leave to go to college. I've been here pretty much my whole life. But people who leave and come back, they always sort of have a certain. They have a certain mentality when they get back of Gary being a little bit small and having a limited scope, right? So when you're coming back to Gary, what is it like for you to come back?
I don't think that it's small at all. Like you just said, we have a huge population in the city of Gary. I think it's somewhere still around 70,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And we just saw that the premiere sold out nearly 200 tickets. So people in the city are still active. I don't look at it as a small scope. I think that we just need to start hosting more events, hosting more things to do, just really increasing the community and, just stand up behind the community. But I don't think that, the city under a small scope at all. We're still one of the premier cities in Northwest Indiana, in my opinion. Especially, we just got the Hard Rock Casino. So, I think Gary's still under a big scope. I'm pretty sure that there's people right now watching Gary, looking at property to buy.
Yes.
I'm glad that he said that because it's true. We think about, well, Gary used to be 150,000 and now it's only 70,000. 70,000 people is a lot of residents.
Yeah.
It's just that we're 70,000 people in a city that's 57 square miles that once held 150,000.
Mm-hmm. So what did you miss most about Gary when you were gone?
That's a great question. I missed a lot about Gary. For one, really the food. Gary is home to a lot of, mom and pop restaurants.
Yes.
And, just that vibe that you can't get in a big city as far as like, friendliness, community, just those kind of things. But going to Morehouse really helped with that because, like I said, I was able to get a brotherhood that I never really imagined. I didn't really pledge any fraternities, but to me, Morehouse was a fraternity. So, I missed a lot. I missed my sisters growing up. I missed, my sisters in high school. I was looking back on that today, how old they've gotten. It's a lot about Gary, but I think, what was most important about me being gone is that I've seen things that I can see in my city now, things that I've seen in other people's cities. Like, okay, we can do this in Gary. So, it's just all about starting these conversations, changing the narrative, and moving forward.
Right. I like that. Now there have been other filmmakers who've made documentaries about the city. I remember when I came back home, I saw Stagnant Hope and Gary, Indiana, A Tale of Two Cities. Uh, how do you think your film Looted uh, tells a similar story, and in what ways does it tell a different story from other?
So I studied Tale of Two Cities a lot when I made my film, and I liked that movie or that documentary a lot. But I wanted to make mine completely different. And what kind of helped me make mine different was that what I noticed was that the directors or the producers, none of them were really from Gary. Um,
Mm.
and I had a deeper relationship with a lot of more people here, and that actually inspired me to do my film because as I was putting things together, figuring out who I was going to call, figuring out who I was going to interview, I realized that wow, I'm still alive, I'm still young, I have access to these people. Now is the perfect time to do this. So
Mhm.
when I watched those films, they gave a lot of history about Gary, but I think that the angle that we're coming from Booted, we're speaking on the history and speaking how we can move forward.
Uh-huh.
Great, great, great. So, what exactly, like, what, and when did you come to the conclusion that you needed to make this documentary? Like, what was it? Was it a specific thing that happened here in the city of Gary?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell you specifically what it was. I was driving down Broadway one time, or not one time, last year around this time. Actually, I'm not sure if it was May or June, but I remember it was right during the pandemic. Right, we were fresh in the pandemic, and I was just driving, and I remember actually one of my friends had he had got an incident with the police in Atlanta, and it had made a national media news. And that was around the time that a lot of people were rioting and looting, in different cities. And when I came home, I had realized that Gary looked just like these riots in these cities, but unfortunately for our citizens, this was the everyday thing.
Right.
This won't get patched up and boarded up and fixed tomorrow. Our streets won't get they won't take this spray paint off City Hall. We don't have spray paint on City Hall, but I'm just using it for example. You know what I'm saying? They won't do that. So it's just like I really noticed that we need to bring attention to this because this is a urgent matter.
Right, right, right. I've been seeing that for many years, and I too have watched a lot of the documentaries about the city of Gary, and a lot of them tend to skew depressing. But in making this documentary and doing the research you did, who do you view as the main villain who has looted Gary?
I don't want to single anyone out. I would just say Gary has been looted a lot by big businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Big business. Hmm. Well, I mean, there's one major big business
Yes.
corporation in the city that's footprint has, pretty much overshadowed everything else.
Yeah.
Uh, would you say that company in particular
Um,
bears a lot of the responsibility?
I wouldn't say that they give out responsibility. I would say that there were a lot of opportunities that could have been presented to us by major companies that have visited the city, and I'm not just speaking on one. So I think that we have always been dealt the shorthand in a lot of deals, and you know this is what I'm doing. I wanted to start creating these conversations to speak up about this. Why someone said when we were interviewing them, Gary always gets treated like a stepchild. Why is that?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Do you think that Gary political and business leaders, uh, well, I assume you do. You think that they could have gone in a path that led to Gary becoming more diversified economically? Why do you think we were so content to rest under the shadow of U.S. Steel for so long?
Well, because that was the industry in Gary for so long, and it almost still is. When you look at Gary and you look at the problems, that's what I noticed. We don't have a real industry, and the industry that we did have was steel or education. When you look at it today now, the Gary community school system they're doing great, but in comparison to what they were in the early '90s, you know, not the same.
Uh-huh.
So
We have a
when you
lot
look,
of hospital and medical
oh yeah, yeah,
businesses
yeah,
and
and that's
such
and
in
that's
this town.
true too. That's very true. I haven't done a lot of research on that as far as, but I know that in comparison to other communities, Gary has yet again received the end of the stick.
Right. All right, folks. That number is 219-885-1371. If you have a question for Chris Robinson, the director of the the documentary Looted, please give us a call. How did you get so many of politicians to be in this movie? I was kind of surprised when I saw the trailer for it. I thought, there's no way he's gonna be in here. There's no way she's gonna be in here.
Yeah.
How did you just call him up or what?
Yeah, we did everything the right way. We reached out with emails, months before. I want to say, like I said, around this time is when I got the idea. I definitely started shooting, freelance for this project, probably early June. So, once I got a good idea of, what I had and what I needed to do, is when we started to reach out to these people and we let them know this is what's going on, and the story that we're telling, they had no reason not to be a part. It's a great story. So, of course, they would say yes. Some people did say no, though. And, we respect their decisions. But we're telling a great story here, and I'm glad the people that have chose to be in it have been in it.
Did any of our civic leaders say to you that, looking back, I wish I would have taken course B, or it had gone a different way?
What do you mean necessarily by course B?
Well, things went the way they went, whether you're talking about the ballpark or whatever other things we'll talk about. Were there any of the politicians that you interviewed who said, if I had it to do over again, I think I might have gone in this direction instead of the direction that we went?
Yeah, well, there's one situation in particular that I can speak on, which was the Miss USA pageant.
Uh-huh.
That's one of my, more ideal situations of when I say Gary was looted. For those who don't know, what really happened was we held the Miss USA pageant in the contract. We were supposed to host it for 2 years. The city spent nearly $6 million on the pageant and didn't see much in return at all. And, this was all at the fault of Donald Trump, who later became the president and almost ruined the country. So, at a small level, he played with Gary, and we saw that, and we allow him to continue to play with America. So, not only did a few people tell me about that situation, it was like, oh yeah, that was dumb. We don't know why we did that. But we really could have stopped Donald Trump right then and there, but we didn't. So
Interesting.
We were looted.
Interesting.
Wow. When you were interviewing these politicians and a lot of these people who are pretty high profile, like I said, in the city of Gary, did you get the impression that they're being straight up with you?
Yeah, definitely. All the interviews were for sure straight up. I didn't feel like anybody sugarcoated anything. I definitely got a lot of information, overshared information. There's a lot of there's actually a story in the movie by Charlie Brown. He said this was the first time that this story was ever told publicly. So I feel like everything was 100% organic in the interviews and throughout the film.
Okay, so where exactly can the movie be seen?
The movie, of course, after the premiere, the movie will be seen online, or it can be seen online on chrisprobinson.us/looted. It'll be available to stream, and then we will also have hard copies to purchase, and I can send them out.
So that's Chris P.
Robinson-looted.
Okay, Chris P. Robinson-looted.
And yeah, don't forget the .us.
Oh,
chrisprobinson.us.
Okay.
/looted. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, and when is the premiere?
The premiere is this Sunday.
Okay. And where can people get at you on social media? What's your socials for the public?
Yeah, all my socials is at Turbo. That's TURBO CROB. Turbo Crobs, like Turbo CROB C-Rob C Robinson.
All right. Thank you. Hey, thank you for coming on our show.
Mm-hmm.
We're more than happy to support you. I told you that I went and saw the GoFundMe. Are you still taking donations from the GoFundMe? Because I know these.
No, we relaxed on the donation. I appreciate everybody. Yeah. We got a lot of sponsors right now, so I just want to, host this event this weekend. I'm glad it's sold out, and then we can hopefully start getting the copies out to the people in the city who want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, congratulations, brother.
Amen.
Congratulations. Akasa, Sukasa, anytime you got any other projects or anything you want to talk about, please feel free to call in or come in every Friday night, 6 to 8. We're right here in the city of Gary. Thank you for joining us, Chris, brother. All the best to you and whatever you want to do in this life, brother.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you all for having me.
Uh-huh.
All right, folks.